Well, it's taken how long to get him onto a dance floor?
He was not keen. Like, we've managed to get Jordan, Jamesy, even
Sophie came on.
Yeah, not a problem. We dance every week, but someone so confident, he just didn't want to dance.
Confident in life, confident on the golf course, and yet you try and put him on the Sunday show to do a dance, and he struggled.
He struggled, he did.
I mean, I've been in some nightclubs with him over the years, and he will happily clear a dance floor.
He has cleared a few dance floors, and when he goes in the toilet, he clears that as well normally. That's not good. God. What a week.
Well, good morning everybody. Welcome to another Sunday morning show. Good morning, Leicester.
Morning, Dan. Morning, everybody.
Well, what a week indeed, you said.
We have had a good week, haven't we?
We've had a great week. You have had, I mean, I've got to say, like, the comments that come in sometimes they do hammer you on occasions, don't they?
Yeah.
In vlogs gone by.
I don't mind though, to be honest. If people are talking about you, it's good, isn't it?
Any bit of chat is good chat.
Yeah, you have to have different characters, don't we? We're all slightly different. We've all got slightly different personalities, but I think we mix really well, don't we?
Yeah.
If everyone was the same, it would be boring, wouldn't it? Life would be boring, the vlogs would be boring.
How has it felt this week, though, with the amount of positive feedback that you've had about your golf around what I can only explain to people that it is probably one of the most tightest golf courses around. One that I've ever played, but a lot of the length as well. I mean, you've got to hit driver.
Yeah, I mean,
St Hellion is phenomenal.
There was a few comments saying, "Oh, you're never going to beat the course record or shoot 69." There's 59. There's 4 of you, but that's a seriously hard golf course. It's over 7,000. We played right off the tips. It's over 7,000 yards, and I've never played round there and win like it. I mean, if you miss the fairways left or right, you basically lose your ball. You're over in a ditch. You're halfway up a hill, and the rough was long. So it was a proper tough golf course. I mean, we played well, didn't we? I think we
did play well. I think I was a little bit off the boil for a period there, and to be fair, Paul wasn't on his game 100%. Starting out, certainly not.
We got going, all of us. But
it was so windy. It was difficult to see because obviously we cut all the wind out as much as we could, so it was really difficult to see. But it was properly blowy, and it swirls around that golf course. So. But I mean, it wasn't bothering you at all.
No, it's a relaxed format, isn't it?
But we just didn't putt. We didn't hold it.
No. I mean, it was a few weeks ago when the greens. I mean, the greens have vastly improved everywhere, haven't they? So I mean, they were good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Not criticising St Hellions greens. They were probably the best at the time that I'd putted on. But
agree. Yeah.
Even then, they were still not as probably as they'd want it for that time of year. But obviously, COVID and stuff like that, you're not going to expect them to be absolutely perfect. No. So it was difficult holding putts, and we found that at a few courses we played recently.
We did, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, talking about greens, I thought, do you remember we did the interview with Jason out on the golf course, Jason Brooks, our course manager, head greenkeeper? He built the new putting green.
Yeah.
Well, we are a few months on now, and
I was getting on?
Well, yeah, because I was walking past it the other day and thought, do you know what? We need to film that because that is looking very green out there at the moment. So I thought we'd go out there today and have a little chat with Jason to see how the new putting green's coming on at Torquay.
Perfect.
Well, we have a putting green.
Yeah, it's a bit slow, but it
looks very slow.
But it's fully grassed now, and just a question of us refining it now, getting it down in height over the next few weeks, and we'll be ready.
I mean, it looks amazing. The coverage that we've got on here is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the grass itself is probably a little bit thicker by the leaf than I was expecting, but I suppose that's just down to the fact of the fact that it's long.
Yeah, it took a while to get going, really, how cold the springs were this time. And yeah, it's just a case of refining now. The more we mow it, the more sort of intensity we put to it, the grass starts naturally getting finer and finer as we get shorter and shorter with it.
What's the response been like from the members? Have they been chatting to you about it?
I've not heard a word.
Have they not said a thing?
No.
I gotta say, no one said anything to me either in the shop.
No.
I mean, I like it. I think it looks fantastic. Are you quite happy with it?
Yeah. I mean, ideally it would have been, if we could have got it bigger, it would have been better. But we were confined by what we had around us for space. But yeah, I mean, the good thing is we don't have to rush to get it in play because we've still got the existing putting green out in use at the moment. So yeah, it will just be ready when it's ready. I mean, probably be July, I would imagine, before we get it open, but it might be.
You did say July. You said about
Did
July.
I say July?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said July originally, yeah.
That's a good guess.
I mean, so how long has it taken, where are we now? How long has it kind of taken when we got those cores down?
Yeah, that would have been February.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that it should be sort of maybe green in March, possibly mowing it a little bit in April, but then we didn't know we were going to get the coldest spring in UK history in April, and the driest, and then a horrible May as well. So it's suddenly come to life really in the last couple of weeks as the weather's picked up. But yeah, pretty happy really.
So you've pulled out a little plug. We've cut a hole, haven't we? So should we go and have a little look at what's kind of happening? So you've cut this out not to actually put a hole in for this.
No, I just want to see what's going on underneath really.
Yeah.
So we've got a really good root structure to it. Lots of nice white roots poking down through it.
Yeah.
Good depth. And then we'll see the sort of dark soil is the cores.
Yeah.
And the lighter sand on top, as that's where we've been top dressing to get the levels smoother. I think one of your subscribers had commented wondering how it was going to be smooth. I know, bear in mind it looked like kind of lots of bumpy plugs and what have you, but yeah, just we've added probably a centimetre of top dressing on top, which will just help to smooth it out. But yeah, that's very healthy.
So I was going to say, is that as healthy as it gets? I mean, obviously that's.
I mean, in time the roots will start shrinking as you start making this grass a little bit shorter as you're cutting it.
Yeah.
The roots don't need to be quite so big because they're not supporting such a big leaf on top.
Okay.
So they will naturally shrink in time. But yeah, very good for this point in time.
So what is this grass on top here? What are you calling that?
Well, I mean, it is a poly stand basically. It's a mixture of all different types of grasses. So they have bent grasses and poa be the predominant grasses we have in the surface, and there'll be other ones in there as well. But once they get mowed more regularly, they all become a little bit more refined and a little bit smoother. And the ones which can't cope with that height of cut, they sort of die.
Do they?
Yeah.
And will that change as the season goes round? Will the grasses change on our greens, or do they stay pretty much the same all year round?
Well, we've got the annual meadowgrass, which is by its name is annual grass, so it comes and goes year on year out.
Is that the stuff that you kind of don't want?
Yeah, it's the stuff you don't want.
That's kind of like your garden.
So if you pan in here, you can see these seed heads.
Yeah.
On top, that's the annual meadowgrass seed head.
Yeah.
You don't want those really, but not to say that you can't get good surfaces with. Poa annua is the Latin name for it, but you can get good surfaces with that. Some really prestigious golf courses are made up with Poa dominated greens.
Yeah.
Pebble Beach is probably the most highest profile course around with those types of greens.
But the pros, so Wentworth used to be a bit like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
But the pros have complained, haven't they, over the years? Because I suppose, and I think about when I've played, and me and you have talked about it in the past, sometimes you can start to see the greens go a little bit white in the afternoon. So obviously that is starting to seed, isn't it?
That's it. You've got the seed heads, are the nuisance really.
Right.
Without the seed heads, the grass to put on would be good. But at times this time of year, May, early June, you get seed heads. They come up and then they go again, and the greens are pretty good. But yeah, the trouble with Poa annua is in the afternoon, it does tend to make greens bumpy. First thing in the morning is when you really want to play. But Wentworth, for example, they've gone to creep and bent grass now. They completely stripped everything out, redid them all from scratch, and pure one monostand of creep and bent.
But they've had to put in a sub-air system, haven't they?
They've got sub-air system, yeah.
So what is sub-air system? What would that do?
The sub-air system is expensive. That's for starters.
It's
big money. I think you're looking at maybe, I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's maybe £100,000 per green for this system. But it gives them the ability to draw moisture out of the profile should they require it, which is they had it at Glen Eagles as well prior to the Ryder Cup. So it gives them a degree of control of how they make the profile work for them. So Poa annua grass, for example, likes wet conditions. So if you dry out the profile, it just gives a bit more advantage to the other grasses that you're trying to have dominate the sward.
So are we now in the same process with this green as you are with all the other greens on the golf course? Is it on the same rota, shall we say?
Not quite yet, no. We're probably just cutting it twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And from now onwards, really, I think once we've got the warmth, we can go a little bit more intensive with it now, and we start cutting it a little bit shorter and a little bit more often, and it will just work out better for the grass then. It gets used to that kind of regime. We're currently at about 9 mil in height. We aim to get it to 4 really in July.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that should be a reasonable surface then.
And how do you go about that? So do you lower it 1 mil at a time? Do you go half a mil? How does it kind of work? You can't just go in and go doof and pop it all down.
No, the rule of thumb is never take more than 1/3 of the leaf blade off in one go. So if you're 9 mil, you don't want to be going at past 6, for example, with a cut. But the slower you do it, the better it is for the grass, really. So we'll do. Probably next week we'll go from 9 to 8, and then the week after down to 7, and then so on. And maybe if it looks like it's comfortably taking it, we might drop it down a couple at a time. We'll just see how it reacts, really. But we'll keep dressing it as well, much to the mechanic's annoyance, because the sand blunts his blades, so he has to keep grinding them up. But regular top dressing, regular cutting, keep checking moisture levels within it, and just nurture it, really.
And if you were to cut this a bit too low, I've heard the words like you stress the grass and things like that. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a living organism. It has to, like you and I, it has to eat and drink. And if you just sort of start putting pressure on it, it just reacts in the same way. It just gets stressed out. It's not happy, and then the quality of the surface then suffers. So you've got to make sure everything's kind of fairly balanced, really. Enough water, enough feed, and just look after it. You get out with what you put into it, really. If you're a bit too aggressive with it, it will go backwards quite quickly. So it's nice that we're not having to rush this into play like we have done on previous greens. When we've had a green rebuild on the course and everybody's desperate for that hole to open, and you feel like you should be kind of getting on it ahead of time, which is always usually a mistake.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Jace, I think you've done a cracking job on it. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure once the members get on there and have a little go on it, I'm sure you'll get plenty of feedback from them when it's up and running.
Yeah, hopefully they won't expect it to match the existing greens straight off.
Yeah. How long will that take?
I think by the end of the summer, I think I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But initially it's going to be probably a little bit slower than the other greens, as it sort of, probably finds its feet. But hopefully they'll be happy.
Yeah, I think they will.
Nice addition to the club.
Yeah, and it keeps it all over into this area, into the practice facilities and everything, kind of keeping it all in one space, and then it gives us more options if we wanted to do something with the existing putting green long term, for the club.
Yeah, the beer garden's been quite popular, isn't it?
It certainly has, especially weather like this.
Yeah, it's finally a nice day.
Right, mate, thanks for your time again.
No, you're welcome.
See you again soon.
Always good to catch up with Jason. Always good to see exactly what's kind of going on and around the golf courses, and we get so many good comments from so many greenkeepers around the country and abroad that love this type of interaction, and we plan to do more of it.
We're lucky, like I always said, we're lucky to have Jason, and he's very transparent with what he's doing, and you can always, he's a good one that you can ask something and he'll give you a good answer. Yeah. He doesn't hide anything. I've known greenkeepers in the past where I've asked them about certain things and they can be a bit dismissive or not really tell you, but he always tells you what he's doing, why they're doing it. It's just nice to know, isn't it?
It is good to know.
We can then sort of explain to the members with, from his knowledge, gives us a bit of knowledge, we can explain why certain things are happening. It's just members ultimately want to know what's going on, don't they?
But if you think about it, not very many people get the opportunity to see from the get-go, like you take a plot of land that we had on that putting green to then create the green that they created, and then to see it all unfold and how they built it. I just think it's great. It's part of the golf. It's part of golf that I think everybody needs to know a little bit about if they're involved in the game, because it's all part of it. And I think it teaches you to kind of respect the surfaces that you're playing on year or throughout the year.
You've only got to look at if you watched the Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. Do you remember that? I don't know if they still play it on
I
Sky.
love that. I mean, I think me and you should redo it. We could start it, couldn't we? Restart it up.
It's a brilliant. If anyone hasn't seen it, maybe hit it in YouTube or one of the social media outlets. You'll see some of the golf courses and how they've now developed and the quality. These were top. They always go to top quality golf courses. You know, your number like in the top 50 in the world. But the condition of those courses compared to now, how much the advancement in sort of technology and how they sort of do things just shows how greenkeeping has evolved and how good the actual courses are, even club courses and whatnot, compared to what they were 50 or so years ago. And
I call it a bit of a science. I mean, it is science. At the end of the day, those guys are working with a living, growing organism, which needs nurturing, as Jason quite rightly said. You know, it needs time. It needs TLC, as they say.
Is that a bit like Will? Will needs nurturing a bit of TLC, doesn't he?
Cool, he did for that dancing, didn't he? Jeez. So let's move on.
Yeah.
And let's move on to your handicap.
Yeah. So we've had a few questions over the last several months about the World Handicap System and the World Index and all concerning that. So I had a bit of a incident this weekend actually.
Incident?
So, well, not an incident, but I played 4 rounds of golf the weekend just past. I played 36 holes of Directors' Cup at Exeter. Anybody who hasn't seen that golf course, go and check it out. It was phenomenal.
Good shape. Oh, yeah, they can get it in good shape.
It was, it's ridiculous. So I played 36 holes there, and I played 36 holes at Torquay in the Riviera Championship. So both sort of open competition. Didn't do particularly well, although I did improve as each round went on. I did 77 first round at Exeter, 75 second round, and then I did 74 Torquay and then 73. I had a couple of high numbers in both rounds, so it could have been a little bit better because I came back in 32 and 33 both time. But my handicap, so normally I would have probably gone up
0.4
or 0.4 possibly. No, I'd have gone up 0.3 because one of them I hit buffer with the adjustment. Because I had an 8 on the 73. So I'd have gone up 0.3, which would have still kept me round about scratch. But I've actually gone from +1 to 1 in a weekend. So 2 whole shots I went up.
Wow.
Which is quite a big jump, yeah.
For a Category 1 golfer,
2 whole shots.
That much, that's massive.
Then I understand that it's your best 8 out of 20, so you need 20 rounds in, it's your best 8. Once you start going into your 21st round, that then knocks the first round off, etc. So it just keeps more of a keeps moving around. Yeah. And it picks your best 8 out of those 20. So it's not like you're replacing, say, your best score with your worst score, but it does vary. But I did some research because I've got a couple more scores in the next couple of rounds that are under par. To see, I was a bit concerned that I might suddenly jump from, say, if I had another weekend like that, I could go from 1 to 3, which would be like 4 shots, which I feel like I'm better than a 3 handicap.
By a long way.
Yeah, maybe I'm scratch 1 round about that, which is probably a fair reflection at the moment.
You're a scratch golfer.
But I was a bit concerned that I didn't want to go straight to say if I went to 3, people, he's done it on purpose, or etc.
Well, there's no hiding now. You can't do anything on
purpose. No, but I've found out since, by speaking to England Golf Union, that the most you can go up is 4 to start with. So you can go up 4 shots.
Okay, so you've gone up 2.
So I've gone up 2. I can go up to 4. And then after that, what you would go up is halved, but you can go up to a maximum of 5 shots in a season.
Right.
So there is a cap on.
So you could get to 3 pretty quickly.
I could, yeah. But I showed the chap, I can't remember his name actually, I wish I knew his name. He went on to my details because you can just give him what your details are. And he saw the scores I've got coming up, and he said you could easily jump if you were shooting similar scores to what I've shot the weekend. I could jump to 3 quite quickly. I'm playing Sunday as well, so it's 1 round, and I've got 3 rounds the week after on the weekend. So that's the 4 rounds. So he said that it's a possibility if I don't shoot good scores, and they're all around Torquay, which is quite tough because
can be
with the what was the standard scratch was now the actual slope rating, that I could actually jump to 3 handicap. So it's interesting, isn't it? That's a big jump. Like that would have.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking, how many shots are you going to be claiming on your shots?
I'm not taking. I'm just going to play everyone off scratch. I think I think it's fair, isn't it? Ish. But I mean, it's strange, isn't it? Because that jump from +1 to 4, like 3 or 4, would take you 40 rounds of golf, wouldn't it?
Normally take you a good couple of years.
Which would be, I play probably 10 to 15 rounds competitively.
That is amazing. That is amazing. To see it firsthand like that, that is amazing. Well, I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
I'm not personally happy about playing you off 3.
Can I play a 4?
Because, I mean, me having to give you 3 shots in a round,
I'll take it. Mind you, you would have beaten me the last few times we played, but yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Has anybody else had any sort of massive variations?
Put your comments down below. I'd like to hear if you've seen some jumpings around, like Leicester's seen in his handicap.
I can imagine jumping down quite quickly downwards.
Yeah.
But to actually go in reverse, that is quite extreme.
It just shows the system, isn't it?
Yeah.
New system.
I guess after a while it will level itself out. But I don't even then.
It depends on how you play golf. If you're somebody that goes low, high, then you're going to see some jumps.
You should be submitting scores every time you play. That's the whole idea of it. I mean, if you sort of had a month off work and you played 28 times, that's 28 rounds.
Put your score in down at St Mellion. You'd come straight back down, wouldn't you?
That's not going in there.
Not going.
No, it's just interesting, isn't it?
No, it's good.
Yeah,
it is good. It is. I do find and yeah, I have heard that. You've got to go out and play golf though if you're going to do that. You know, you actually got to go out and play and post a score, not do scrambles on a vlog. Talking about that then, moving on from your handicap, but talking about golf and scrambles, we have been this week down at Bowwood.
We did, yeah.
And we've been playing, Bowwood in Cornwall. So there's a Bowwood in Wiltshire and there's a Bowwood in Cornwall. Now,
we filmed at Bowwood in Wiltshire, with Mike Brown.
Yes, with Mike,
that was probably September, October time.
Yeah, the weather wasn't great, was it?
Did
we managed to get 9 holes done, that was good.
So if you haven't seen that, then maybe Dan will stick a link somewhere here and you can...
Up there, above your head.
Is it up there somewhere?
That is a beautiful golf course and I love going to Bowwood in Wiltshire. However, I have never been to Bowwood in Cornwall. Yeah. You have? I
played it several times. I like the place, but I forgot how good it was. As stupid as that sounds.
Having never been there, and I've got to be honest, like, it's not that I haven't heard good reports about it, because I've not really heard much about it as in reports at all. No. It's never somewhere I've gone, I need to go and play down there. Yeah. So, however, we went down to play, and I was shocked on how good it was.
Do you know what I was more shocked about?
No.
How relatively cheap it is to go stay there and play golf. Like when
for what the facilities they have, the quality of golf course they have. Wow.
When Max wasn't it?
Max, yeah.
When Max told us like the price, I was like, what, really?
Well, on that note, though, I've spoken to Graham, and we'll probably be doing some type of trip down there. Yeah. Based on
it's literally got everything there. Yeah. I haven't gone and seen the accommodation, but
I did, yeah.
The clubhouse is superb. The practice facility. If you're going for a serious weekend, you've got a driving range there. You've got a course which nearly tips 7,000 yards off the back tips. There's a par 5 there, 650 yards. It's got a really good short game there. It's got a wacky putting green as well.
Yeah.
Where you can have a bit of fun with it. It's really good, top notch, isn't it?
Very impressed. Very impressed. So that vlog will be coming out, and I'm just trying to wrap my brain when that's coming out. But that's going to be coming out possibly in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time, we should be able to see that one coming out. So that was obviously a lot of fun. Me, you, Wilbur, and Chris Gill again. The band. I called it the band back together. Yeah. Because it was fun at Perranporth as well.
Yeah, I think that was a good vlog as well. I think people enjoy that one.
Yeah.
What's on this week's show? Is it?
This week we are starting All Woodley. So
we are Leeds tour.
We've got the start of our Leeds tour, and we're not going to run it as one big 1, 2, 3. We're going to break it up with different vlogs in between. But I'm editing in that one now, and it's really good.
Because we played a bit of stroke play. We've done a bit of match play.
Stroke play to get us going.
Yeah.
Which
the qualifier.
Which you'll see this week. The qualifier. Yeah. Yeah, that was the qualifier, wasn't it? So so we got a bit of stroke play that we managed to get a good 9 holes in around All Woodley. Because the weather came in pretty bad. We'd driven up there as well to play. So All Woodley, beautiful golf course, and one I think everyone's going to enjoy.
Yeah, perfect.
So I think that's it for this week. Have you got anything else that you want to say?
I've got no shout-outs to anything this week. So.
Well, nothing at all? No one sent anything in?
No.
I'm not sure anyone likes a ticker bar, Bernie.
No.
Not sure anyone likes. I think they preferred the shout-out with their names. But anyway, we hope you enjoy All Woodley this week. We certainly did. And
we've sold out for Wales, haven't we?
Wales is done, yeah. Sold out.
Brilliant. Thanks to everyone that's
and we're looking
paid up, and we're looking forward to meeting you all.
Absolutely right.
providing a good week.
And there will be some more of those coming, so there's some more trips ahead we've got planned. Anyway, we'll hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you all again next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.